Is Dylan the new Luna on Bold and the Beautiful? Is there another serial killer on the loose on Bold and the Beautiful? Luna Nozowa is supposedly dead and gone, but the Forrester and Spencer families shouldn't stop locking their doors quite yet. Soap spoilers hint there could be a new danger lurking in the shadows. Is Electra Forrester's new bestie Dylan dangerous? Keep reading to find out. Here's what's coming up next week on Bold and the Beautiful. Next week, Dylan will be back on the daytime show, and we'll spend some time with Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, and with Spencer Jr., Crew Morrow. In fact, the new besties have such a good night that Electra invites Dylan to slumber party at the beach house. But viewers are convinced that there's something fishy going on with the new character. Could Electra have another stalker on her hands? Dylan could be dangerous. The Bold and the Beautiful fans don't really know anything about Hei's former art teacher, other than the fact that she hit and killed Luna Nozowa, Lisa Yamada, and is super sorry about it. Some fan theories on social media hint that Dylan might not have killed Hit Luna, and is just taking credit for the crime because she's obsessed with Electra and wants to be on her good side. If that was Dylan's plan, then it is definitely working. Dylan isn't from a wealthy family, and seems to work anywhere and everywhere to make ends meet. BNB spoilers hint she could be a con artist, and is trying to get close to the Forresters so she can steal from them. If that's Dylan's plan, it seems to be a success so far. Hopefully Will Spencer's fine china doesn't go missing during the slumber party. Is Dylan just like Luna? It's ironic that the character that killed off Luna could be no better than Luna. Electra Forrester thinks her problems are in the rear view mirror. Little does she know, Dylan might even be more dangerous than Luna. The world of the Bold and the Beautiful has always been a whirlwind of high-fashion drama, star-crossed lovers, and the occasional back-from-the-dead shocker. But the tragedy unfolding this week has left fans in a state of mourning and disbelief. As we navigate the final days of 2025, the sad news surrounding Dylan and the aftermath of Luna Nozowa's tragic exit has officially reached a fever pitch. For those who have been glued to their screens, the tension between guilt and new beginnings is palpable. We aren't just watching a soap opera anymore. We are witnessing a character study of grief, obsession, and the heavy price of an accidental moment that changed everything. The heartbreak of Dylan's confession. For weeks, the mystery of who hit Luna Nozowa on that dark, fateful night outside the beach house hung over Los Angeles like a heavy fog. While Luna was a polarizing figure, having committed her fair share of lunatic crimes, her sudden death while fleeing the police sent shockwaves through the Spencer and Forrester families. The sad news that broke the hearts of many was the identity of the driver, Dylan, portrayed by Sydney Bullock. Dylan, the sweet and unassuming art teacher who once taught Hei's, was revealed to be the one behind the wheel. Seeing her break down and confess to Electra, and that she was the one who accidentally mowed down Luna, was a moment of pure, raw emotion. The weight of guilt. Dylan's struggle isn't just about the legalities. It's about the soul-crushing weight of knowing she took a life. The forgiveness factor. In a surprising turn, Finn Tanner Novlin, who had just discovered Luna was the biological daughter he never knew, offered Dylan a hug and forgiveness. This moment of grace was beautiful, yet profoundly sad, as it reminded viewers that everyone involved is a victim of Luna's chaotic legacy. Is Dylan the new Luna? High engagement speculation is currently swirling across social media. Is Dylan being set up as the new resident villain? While we mourn the loss of the original Luna, spoilers for the week of December 22nd to 26th suggest that the sad news might take a dark, psychological turn. Will Spencer and Electra Forrester have kindly invited Dylan to stay the night at the beach house to help her recover from her trauma. However, soap opera fans know that no good deed goes unpunished. 1. The looming shadow of obsession. Fans on Reddit and Soap Hub are pointing to a hidden agenda. There is a certain look in Dylan's eyes, a flicker of something other than grief. The invitation, Will and Electra's hospitality might be the catalyst for a new obsession. The Finn connection, Speculation is rife that Dylan may develop an unhealthy fixation on Finn. Is she looking for a father figure? Or is she about to become the next woman to try and dismantle Steffi and Finn's marriage? 2. A cycle of tragedy. The saddest part of this storyline is the cycle. Luna came into town as a breath of fresh air before descending into madness. Now Dylan, who was one of Luna's victims held captive and traumatized, seems to be following a similar path. It's a tragic irony that the woman who ended Luna's life might be the one to inherit her villain mantle. The fallout, a family in mourning. While the spotlight is on Dylan, we cannot ignore the sadness rippling through the rest of the cast. Finn's internal battle. Finn is grieving a daughter he never got to love. His relief at her death is shadowed by the what-ifs of a father's heart. The Spencer baby, the confirmation that Luna suffered a miscarriage while in custody added a layer of somber reality to the plot. Katie Logan lighting a candle for the baby that would have been a Spencer was a poignant reminder of the innocent lives caught in the crossfire. Steffi's vigilance. Even in the sad news, Steffi Forrester remains the protector. Her bond with Finn is being tested once again as they try to move past the Luna era, unaware that a new storm might be brewing in their own guest room. Why this news hits different. Soap fans are used to TV deaths, but the exit of Lisa Yamada as Luna and the psychological unraveling of Dylan feels grounded in a more modern, tragic reality. We are watching characters deal with PTSD, accidental homicide, and the desperate search for redemption. The engagement on this story is through the roof because it asks the audience, can you ever truly move on from a tragedy if the person who caused it is still in your living room? What's next? Spoilers and speculation. As we look toward the new year, the drama isn't slowing down. Katie's fashion house. Amidst the sadness, Katie is launching her own fashion house, potentially sparking a new war with Brooke and Ridge. The beach house mystery. Keep a close eye on Dylan's behavior during her overnight stay. If she starts eyeing Finn's outdoor shower or lingering too long on Electra and Will's private moments, we'll know the new Luna has officially arrived, and the beautiful are reeling today as devastating news ripples through Los Angeles and the Forrester orbit. Just when viewers were beginning to understand the mystery, vulnerability, and quiet strength behind Dylan, the new Luna, the character's storyline takes a profoundly sad and emotionally shattering turn. What started as a promising new chapter has spiraled into heartbreak, betrayal, and a truth that may change everything. For longtime viewers, B&B is no stranger to tragedy, but this moment feels different. It cuts deeper. It feels personal. And for Dylan/Luna, the cost may be unbearable. A new beginning that promised hope. When Dylan first arrived, stepping into the shadowy role now known as the new Luna, there was immediate intrigue. Soft-spoken, but guarded, Dylan carried the unmistakable aura of someone running from a painful past. Fans sensed it right away. This wasn't just another new face brought in for drama. This was a soul weighed down by secrets. At first, Dylan's presence felt refreshing. There was empathy in her eyes, hesitation in her words, and a longing to belong. Whether interacting with members of the Forrester family or quietly observing from the sidelines, Dylan seemed to represent something rare in B&B, hope after trauma. But today, that hope has been shattered. The secret that changes everything. In scenes airing today, the truth Dylan has been hiding finally begins to surface, and it's far darker than anyone imagined. Sources close to the storyline reveal that Dylan's identity as the new Luna is not just symbolic. It's rooted in loss, deception, and survival. Luna wasn't merely a name. It was a shield, a way to bury the person Dylan once was, and the tragedy she could never escape. As fragments of her past emerge, viewers learn that Dylan lost someone she loved deeply, someone whose death she believes was her fault. The guilt has haunted her for years, shaping every decision, every relationship, and every lie she told to protect herself from pain. Today's episode delivers the crushing moment when Dylan finally breaks, a confession that leaves everyone stunned. in an emotionally raw scene that fans are already calling one of the most heartbreaking of the year. Dylan confesses the truth to someone she trusted, believing honesty might finally bring peace. Instead, it brings devastation. Her confession doesn't just expose her past, it destroys the fragile future she was trying to build. The person she confides in feels betrayed, questioning whether Dylan ever truly existed, or if Luna was the only real identity all along. The silence that follows her confession is louder than any argument. For Dylan, it's the moment she realizes that being honest doesn't always lead to forgiveness. Isolation, shame, and emotional collapse. What makes today's news especially painful is not just what Dylan reveals, but what happens afterward. Rather than receiving comfort, Dylan is met with distance. Cold looks, unanswered messages, doors that once felt open now slam shut. Viewers watch as she slowly unravels, retreating into herself, questioning whether she deserves love at all. The confidence she once showed vanishes, replaced by shame and crushing self-doubt. In one particularly devastating moment, Dylan whispers through tears, "I thought if they knew the truth, I could finally breathe. But now, I can't breathe at all." It's a line that has already left fans heartbroken across social media. The emotional weight of being the new Luna, being labeled the new Luna, comes with expectations, mystery, resilience, reinvention. But today, B&B exposes the emotional cost of that transformation. Dylan didn't choose to become Luna out of ambition or manipulation. She did it to survive. Every smile hid fear. Every connection risked exposure. Every day was spent waiting for the past to catch up. And now that it has, Dylan is left standing alone, stripped of the identity she'd built and terrified of the one she left behind. A performance that breaks hearts. Viewers are praising the performance behind Dylan/Luna as one of the most emotionally powerful in recent B&B history. The raw vulnerability, the trembling voice, the quiet devastation, it all feels painfully real. This isn't melodrama for shock value. It's grief. It's trauma. It's a character collapsing under the weight of unresolved pain. Many fans admit they didn't expect to feel this connected to Dylan so quickly, which makes today's episode even harder to watch. Ripple effects across Los Angeles. Dylan's emotional collapse doesn't happen in isolation. Her story sends shockwaves through multiple characters, forcing them to confront uncomfortable truths of their own. Some begin questioning whether they judged her too harshly. Others feel complicit in pushing her to reveal a truth she wasn't ready to share. And a few wonder if it's already too late to save her. As alliances shift and guilt sets in, one thing becomes clear. Dylan's pain is now everyone's responsibility, whether they like it or not. Fans react. This is too sad. The reaction from viewers has been immediate and intense. Many fans are calling today's episode emotionally exhausting and one of the saddest storylines in years. Comments pouring in include, "Dylan didn't deserve this. My heart is broken. The new Luna story is devastating. I cried the whole episode. B&B went dark today, but in a powerful way." Some fans are even expressing concern about Dylan's mental state moving forward, fearing the storyline could lead to even more tragic consequences. What happens next? With Dylan emotionally shattered, the big question now is what comes next, and whether redemption is still possible. Will someone step in before she completely gives up? Can trust be rebuilt after so many lies? Or is Dylan destined to disappear the same way Luna once did? Spoilers hint that darker days may still lie ahead. Dylan's isolation could push her toward dangerous decisions, and the guilt she carries may become too heavy to bear. Hope isn't gone, but it's fragile. A tragedy that feels real. What makes today's news so sad isn't just the plot twists or dramatic reveals. It's the realism behind Dylan's pain. Many viewers see pieces of themselves in her struggle, the fear of being known, the weight of past mistakes, the longing for forgiveness. The Bold and the Beautiful reminds us today that reinvention isn't easy, and sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. Final thoughts. A story that will be remembered. Today's very sad news surrounding Dylan, the new Luna, marks a turning point for the bold and the beautiful. It's a storyline rooted in emotional truth, heartbreak, and the painful cost of survival. As Dylan stands at her lowest point, fans are left holding their breath, hoping someone reaches her before it's too late. One thing is certain. This is not just another chapter. This is a moment that will linger long after the episode shifting ends. Landscape of viral news, few headlines have sparked as much concern and confusion as the cryptic alert. Today's very sad news, Dylan could be dangerous. Across social media platforms, search engines, and news feeds, this phrase has been trending, leaving fans and the general public scrambling for answers. But what, or who, is this Dylan referring to? Is it a beloved celebrity in crisis, a fictional character facing a dark turn, or a real-world warning about a looming threat? To understand the weight of this sad news, we have to look at the different worlds where the name Dylan carries immense weight. Here is the full breakdown of the stories behind the headlines. 1. The real-world weight. Dylan O'Brien's reflective revelation. For many, the name Dylan is synonymous with Dylan O'Brien, the star of The Maze Runner and Teen Wolf. While O'Brien is safe and healthy today, he has recently re-entered the spotlight with sobering reflections on his 2016 near-fatal accident. The sad news here isn't a new injury, but rather a heartbreaking confirmation of how dangerous the industry can be. In recent interviews, O'Brien has been candid about the lasting trauma from his on-set accident, where he suffered severe facial fractures and brain trauma. The industry warning, O'Brien revealed that his safety concerns were ignored by production before the stunt went wrong. The dangerous element. His story serves as a viral reminder that even at the height of fame, young actors are often placed in life-threatening positions for the sake of a shot. The emotional toll. Fans are calling this sad news because it highlights the psychological scars that remain long after the physical ones have healed. 2. The pop culture shift. Dylan Brock and the Venom saga. If you are a fan of Marvel Comics or the cinematic Spider-Verse rumors, the Dylan in question might be Dylan Brock, the son of Eddie Brock, Venom. In current lore, the phrase Dylan could be dangerous is a major plot point. As Dylan struggles to control the Codex and his connection to the symbiotes, the sad news for fans is the potential loss of his humanity. A tragic hero, Dylan is a child forced into a war of gods and monsters. The danger. The narrative suggests that if Dylan loses control, he could become a threat more terrifying than his father ever was. This dangerous transformation is a source of high engagement for fans who have grown attached to the character's innocence. 3. The music icon. Bob Dylan's mortality and the 2025 tour. For the older generation and music historians, any news involving Bob Dylan that uses the word sad immediately triggers fears of health issues. As of late 2025, the legendary 84-year-old singer is still touring, but the sad news often centers on the ending of an era. The danger of the road. While Dylan remains active, his never-ending tour is frequently the subject of speculation. The viral hoaxes. Unfortunately, the phrase Dylan could be dangerous is often co-opted by clickbait sites to imply a health crisis that doesn't exist, leading to a cycle of sad news that is ultimately debunked, yet still distressing for millions of global fans. 4. The Today Show transition. Dylan Dreyer's emotional goodbye. In a more literal Today News context, Dylan Dreyer, the beloved meteorologist, has recently shared personal updates that fans have found deeply moving. The personal news. Dreyer recently opened up about the bittersweet reality of moving and saying goodbye to the home where she raised her children. The danger, misinterpretation. In the world of high-engagement SEO, headlines often conflate dangerous weather, which she reports on, with her personal life. The sad news is her emotional departure from a chapter of her life, which resonated with thousands of parents who follow her journey. Why this news is trending. The anatomy of a viral headline. The reason, Today, very sad news of Dylan could be dangerous is currently dominating feeds is a phenomenon known as convergent engagement. Because there are so many famous Dylans, from O'Brien and Sprouse to Bob Dylan and Dylan Wong. A single vague headline captures the attention of multiple fan bases simultaneously. The breakdown of engagement entity context of sad news, the dangerous aspect Dylan O'Brien trauma from 2016 accident on set, safety negligence Dylan Brock, Marvel, loss of innocent symbiote power out of control Dylan, Dreyer family transitions, / moving misinterpreted, weather alerts Bob Dylan the end of touring era's health speculation, hoax's final thoughts. Navigating the noise. In an era of 24-hour news cycles, the word dangerous is often used to grab attention, but the sad news is often more nuanced. Whether it's an actor speaking out about safety to protect others, or a musician reaching the twilight of a legendary career, the name Dylan remains at the center of our cultural conversation. The real danger isn't necessarily a single event, but the way information spreads, blurring the lines between a comic book plot, a celebrity's past trauma, and a family's personal move. Stay tuned as we continue to monitor these developing stories. Note, if you are looking for specific updates on a particular Dylan, it is always best to check verified social media accounts or official press releases to avoid the danger of misinformation and the rapidly shifting landscape of viral news. Few headlines have sparked as much concern and confusion as the cryptic alert. Today's very sad news, Dylan could be dangerous. Across social media platforms, search engines, and news feeds, this phrase has been trending, leaving fans and the general public scrambling for answers. But what, or who, is this Dylan referring to? Is it a beloved celebrity in crisis, a fictional character facing a dark turn, or a real-world warning about a looming threat? To understand the weight of this sad news, we have to look at the different worlds where the name Dylan carries immense weight. Here is the full breakdown of the stories behind the headlines. 1. The real-world weight. Dylan O'Brien's reflective revelation. For many, the name Dylan is synonymous with Dylan O'Brien, the star of The Maze Runner and Teen Wolf. While O'Brien is safe and healthy today, he has recently re-entered the spotlight with sobering reflections on his 2016 near-fatal accident. The sad news here isn't a new injury, but rather a heartbreaking confirmation of how dangerous the industry can be. In recent interviews, O'Brien has been candid about the lasting trauma from his on-set accident, where he suffered severe facial fractures and brain trauma. The industry warning. O'Brien revealed that his safety concerns were ignored by production before the stunt went wrong. The dangerous element. His story serves as a viral reminder that even at the height of fame, young actors are often placed in life-threatening positions for the sake of a shot. The emotional toll. Fans are calling this sad news because it highlights the psychological scars that remain long after the physical ones have healed. 2. The pop culture shift. Dylan Brock and the Venom saga. If you are a fan of Marvel Comics or the cinematic Spider-Verse rumors, the Dylan in question might be Dylan Brock, the son of Eddie Brock, Venom. In current lore, the bold and the beautiful. Danger rarely announces itself with flashing warning signs. It arrives quietly, through a look held a little too long, a secret kept a little too carefully, a wound that never truly healed. And today, fans are being shaken by a deeply unsettling possibility that is sending chills through the fandom. Dylan could be dangerous. What began as concern is now spiraling into outright fear, as whispers, warning signs, and emotional fallout point toward a tragic truth. Dylan may be standing on the edge of a dark path that could devastate everyone around him. For those who once saw him as misunderstood, wounded, or simply lost, this latest turn feels especially heartbreaking. A troubled silence no one can ignore. Lately, Dylan hasn't been loud, angry, or openly confrontational. Instead, he's been quiet. And in soap opera storytelling, silence can be the most alarming sound of all. Friends and family have noticed the change. His conversations feel guarded. His smiles don't reach his eyes. And when certain names or memories surface, something flashes across his face. Pain, resentment, and something far more dangerous: unresolved rage. This isn't the Dylan viewers once rooted for. This is someone carrying emotional scars that were never allowed to heal. Someone who feels ignored, betrayed, or pushed aside by the very people he once trusted most. And as history has proven time and again in Los Angeles, unaddressed pain has a way of exploding. Old wounds reopened. Sources close to the storyline suggest Dylan's turmoil is deeply tied to his past. Choices made for him, truths kept from him, and relationships that left him feeling disposable. For Dylan, the hurt isn't just emotional, it's existential. He doesn't just feel wronged, he feels erased, being treated like an afterthought. Watching others thrive while he struggles to find his place has chipped away at his sense of self. And the more he believes that no one truly sees him, the more dangerous his mindset becomes. This is how tragedy begins on The Bold and the Beautiful. A person who feels invisible, a heart filled with unresolved pain, and a belief that nothing they do will matter unless it's extreme. Loved ones are growing afraid. What makes today's news so sad isn't just the danger Dylan may pose, but the fear growing among those who care about him. Some have started to keep their distance, sensing something isn't right but not knowing how to reach him. Others are torn between compassion and self-preservation, unsure whether Dylan needs help or containment. There are quiet conversations happening behind closed doors, warnings whispered instead of spoken aloud, and a growing realization that waiting too long to act could have devastating consequences. The tragedy? Dylan doesn't seem to notice, or worse, he notices and interprets it as further rejection, obsession, or desperation. One of the most alarming red flags surrounding Dylan is his emotional fixation. Whether it's tied to a relationship, a betrayal, or a perceived injustice, Dylan appears unable to let go. What starts as heartbreak can easily twist into obsession when someone feels powerless. And obsession, in the B&B universe, often leads to irreversible mistakes. Dylan isn't plotting in obvious ways. He's internalizing. And that's what terrifies those around him. Because when someone finally snaps after holding everything inside, the fallout is never small. A breaking point is coming. Insiders hint that Dylan is nearing a critical emotional breaking point. Every confrontation, every reminder of what he's lost, pushes him closer to the edge. The saddest part? There may still be time to save him, but time is running out. If Dylan feels cornered, humiliated, or exposed, his reaction could be explosive. And when someone believes they have nothing left to lose, they become capable of things they never imagined. Fans should brace themselves for a storyline filled with emotional devastation, shocked loved ones, and consequences that can't be undone. The fallout could be massive. If Dylan truly crosses a line, the ripple effects will be enormous. Careers could be destroyed, families torn apart, trust shattered beyond repair. And Dylan himself? He would lose everything. That's what makes this storyline so painfully sad. Dylan isn't a villain born in darkness. He's a broken soul standing at a crossroads, one step away from becoming the very thing he never wanted to be. A cry for help or a warning. Viewers are left asking a haunting question. Is Dylan's behavior a silent cry for help or a warning sign of something far worse? Soap operas thrive on redemption, but redemption requires intervention. Someone has to notice. Someone has to care enough to act before it's too late. Because once Dylan crosses that invisible line, there may be no coming back. Fans react with fear and heartbreak. Across social media, fans are expressing deep concern and sorrow. Many are pleading for someone, anyone, to step in and help Dylan before tragedy strikes. Others fear the worst, predicting a storyline that ends in loss, regret, and irreversible damage. One sentiment is shared by nearly everyone. This is not the ending anyone wanted for Dylan. Final thoughts. A storm on the horizon. Today's very sad news isn't about what Dylan has done, but about what he might do if no one reaches him in time. The Bold and the Beautiful is once again reminding viewers that the most dangerous threats aren't always obvious. Sometimes they wear familiar faces. Sometimes they're born from pain rather than malice. And sometimes the real tragedy isn't the damage caused. It's realizing it could have been prevented. As this dark storyline unfolds, one thing is clear. Dylan could be dangerous, but he's also desperately lost.